take an Uber ride, there are certain checks that have been done. So for instance, for a vehicle to be on the Uber platform, it must have the necessary documentation, it must have passed roadworthiness, it must have comprehensive insurance cover, and on top of that, the vehicle must have passed Uber vehicle inspections. Now, in addition to that, there are certain requirements that drivers who want to drive on the Uber application also need to meet. So these include providing necessary documentation in terms of identification, driver's license, etc., and also going through a rigorous background screening. Now, one of the exciting things that technology brings that really didn't exist before this technology was here was that before you even enter the car with your Uber driver, you will be able to have information on what's the Uber driver's name, what's the make, model, and registration of the vehicle, and you can validate before even starting your trip. And we always advise riders that if any of those things doesn't match, you should not get in the car and you should report that immediately to Uber. So once you're on a trip, because everything is tracked through GPS, there's a couple of things that this allows. So number one, you can share your trip with a loved one. And this isn't just riders, it's also drivers. So you have the option to say, share my trip, and then your loved one can actually track where you're going throughout the trip. And in the unfortunate instance that something may happen on a trip, we also have that information so that we can help in investigations with law enforcement. So again, in the unfortunate instance that something should happen on a trip, people should have that comfort that every Uber trip is insured. Now, when we get to the end of a trip, this is where riders and drivers have the opportunity to rate each other and give each other feedback. And this feedback for us is critical to improving not just safety, but also quality on the application. So hopefully we love it when people give each other 5 stars, 5 stars. But if there's an issue, we strongly encourage riders and drivers to give that honest feedback with a lower star rating, but also letting us know what issues may have taken place on a trip so that we can take action. This happens through our 24/7 support teams. So any hour of the day, if you write in through the app to say that you've had an issue on an Uber trip, there is someone who will respond to you. And if it's a safety-related issue, these people will respond within minutes, right? And also, if it happens to be a very serious incident where, for example, police or law enforcement get involved, we have specialized teams, again, available 24/7 to liaise specifically with the police. So that's kind of an overview of some of our safety features. Maybe a couple of other ones I'll mention are real-time ID checks. So we require drivers on a periodic basis to validate their identity. We've also instituted driving hour limits to ensure that drivers aren't driving for so long that they get drowsy. So after every 12 hours, they need to take a 6-hour break. But again, for us, safety never stops, right? This is something we're always going to continue to be innovating on. You'll see new features coming out, etc. But for us, it's absolutely critical.